If you're a beginner and you just feel tight across your full body, what if I told you that with just 5 simple beginner stretches, you could feel so much more flexible and so much better in your body? Well, that's exactly what you're gonna learn today. So follow along, all right? Okay, stretch number 1 is really important because it stretches all the muscles around the rib cage, and really it stretches the muscles that prevent you from bringing your arms overhead like this and from extending your upper spine, which are things that are often neglected as we get older and they cause bad posture. So all you need is a wall to do this stretch, which makes it a really awesome stretch because you can do it pretty much anytime, anywhere. So what you're gonna do is stand about a foot or so away from the wall. You're gonna turn your thumbs backward like this, and you're gonna place your hands against the wall just like this, okay? Now the first thing I wanna do is kind of adjust my position. Maybe I walk my feet out a little bit more, and what I wanna do is push my butt backwards like this and allow my chest to dip forwards towards the wall just like this. Now what we should feel is a giant stretch coming down underneath the armpits all the way into the rib cage. Sometimes you feel a little bit of a stretch in the hamstrings too. That's totally fine. In this position, we want to do this for all the stretches. We take a big belly breath in, and then we exhale and we do a relaxing sigh. Ha. Now that noise sounds a little bit silly, but it makes more flexibility happen in your muscles when you actually do it. So go ahead and try to hold this position for around 60 seconds, which usually means about 6 to 10 deep breaths, just like I did there. And once you're done holding this position and you've gained a little bit of range of motion, slowly come out of the stretch, pause for a second, and pay attention. How does your upper body, your rib cage, and your posture feel? It should feel great. Okay, since posture is so important if you want to feel good and so many people struggle with it, we're going to do another stretch next, which this time is going to target the muscles around the chest. So these muscles pull your shoulders forward, but it's also going to help activate and tone the muscles back here. When we tone muscles, that means we create strength, which means that we'll hold better postural position without having to do much after we strengthen those muscles. So this is a cool stretch because all you really need is a doorway. So I like to tell people, pick a doorway in your house, and then when you walk through that doorway, try to remind yourself to do this simple stretch, and you only have to hold it for around 30 to 60 seconds. So take your elbows and place them in line with your shoulders or slightly higher. It's important to play around with the position of your arms because some people feel this stretch more deeply up here, and some people feel the stretch more deeply right here. Next, make sure you point your thumbs backwards like this. Don't let your palms turn inward like this, because this is just hidden bad posture, okay? So thumbs backwards. Now what we're gonna do is take 1 step forward, 1 step backwards, and we're gonna allow the body to come forward between the doorway like this, and we're gonna find our position that feels like a good stretch. Now we're gonna take a big belly breath in, exhale, and try to bring the chest more forward, opening up the chest as much as possible. Again, hold this for 30 to 60 seconds, slowly come out of it, and again, pay attention. How does your shoulders, your chest, your neck even, and your posture feel now? It should feel even better. Okay, now that we've stretched all the muscles kind of in this area, we want to start stretching the muscles that come down from the top of the body to the lower body. And one of the best ways to stretch the muscles from the shoulder to the hip is to do a simple rotation, all right? So this is one of my favorite ways to do it. It's called a seated twist. So what you can do is come down into a chair, and you can do this in just about any chair. The first thing we want to do is we want to fix our legs to the chair. What I mean by that is as I go to do the twist, I don't want to let my legs move from side to side like this. Instead, I'm really squeezing my calves against the chair to make sure they stay in one position. This is going to help maintain a good position for the stretch, which is going to stretch from your shoulder all the way down to your hip. Now what you're going to do is take your arm, you're going to swing it over to your opposite knee like this, and then depending on how flexible you are, you can either put your hand right here by your hip and begin to twist by looking over your shoulder, or if you can, place your hand on the back of the chair like this, don't lift your elbow like this, drop your elbow down like this, and then look over your shoulder. Now in this position, what you'll discover is you have a lot more range of motion than you think you have when you do the breathing rhythm like I'm about to describe. You're gonna take a big belly breath in, really, really big, all the way into the belly, and then as you exhale, try to look a little bit further with your eyes and your head, and you'll start to notice, wow, I have a lot more range of motion than I'm used to. Couple deep belly breaths here. Really relaxing as you turn and holding this position for at least 30 seconds and up to 60 seconds on each side. Now, as you come out of this, it's important not just to go, ooh, and quickly unwind because our body's in a stretch position. We want to make sure we don't hurt ourselves. So slowly unwind, come back to the center, and then make sure you do the exact same stretch on the opposite side. Okay, now we're going to focus on the hips and the rest of the lower body for the final 2 beginner stretches. Now, one area of the body that is tight on most people is the hip flexors, the muscles that run right here across the front side of the hip joint. Now, when these muscles are tight, they pull your body into what's called an anterior pelvic tilt, just like this. And this can often be one of the root causes of things like lower back pain or even hip pain. And so to fix this, what we want to do is stretch these muscles right here, which allow the pelvis to settle back down into the middle. And I'll show you two different variations of this stretch, and you can pick the version that feels like the right fit for you. All right, so the first variation is a standing position. What I like about this one is you can do it anytime, anywhere, even when standing in line at the bank or at the grocery store. What you're gonna do is keep your hips straight forward like this. You're gonna take one step forward, one step backward, and you're gonna, again, keep those hips straight forward and keep the tailbone tucked under like this. You can even practice right here. Let the tailbone come out, you don't feel the stretch. Tuck the tailbone under. Oh, there it goes. Big stretch right there through the hip flexor. In this position, same thing as always, big belly breath. And as we exhale, bring your body more forward by allowing this knee to bend more. And if you need to, you can always adjust the position by scooting your foot forward or backwards. The deeper we go, the deeper this stretch happens. Just make sure we're not slowly tipping ourselves into just a deeper anterior pelvic tilt and putting more pressure on the lower back. And if for some reason that doesn't feel like the right fit for you, another great way to do this is to have a chair, ideally a nice cushy chair like this or a couch. And what you're gonna do is kneel on that chair or that couch, grab the back of the chair with your opposite hand, swing the leg forward, and do the stretch just like this. So that way you have a nice anchored, cozy surface and a little bit more support for balance by being able to grab the back of the chair. Just like before, make sure the tailbone's tucked, make sure the hips are forward, take some deep breaths, and exhale as you start to bring your hips forward towards your front heel. And then always make sure you do the other side. Okay, for this last and final stretch, I thought really hard about what stretch I want to advocate for someone who's a complete beginner and wants to get the most bang for their buck. And so what this stretch does is it stretches all the muscles inside the groin. It stretches the internal and external rotation of the hip capsule like this. And it's ultimately one of my absolute favorite stretches. And why I like this stretch so much, and this is really important, you should do this stretch in your bed because it's one of the best places to do it because it's a nice soft surface on your knees. So this is called the kneeling hip opener. So what you're gonna do is come into your bed either first thing in the morning or before you go to sleep at night, and you're basically going to do a squat, but you're gonna do it in a horizontal position. So I'm gonna place my hands underneath my shoulders like this. I'm gonna let my knees slide out until I feel a stretch in my groin. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come forward a little bit, and then I'm gonna come backwards and try to bring my butt towards my heels without tipping my pelvis into a rounded lower back. So I don't want to do this. This is not the stretch I'm after, okay? So we want to go back and forth, trying to keep the lower back nice and flat, and forward and backward like this. Now, if this is too easy for you, you can come down to your elbows, and that increases the stretch on the hips. And for some people, it feels a little bit more comfortable as well. And over time, as you're holding the stretch and we're kind of going back and forth, you can let the knees slide out further, let the knees slide out further, and see if you can bring your hips back even further. Like I said, this is gonna stretch your hip capsule in a way that feels so incredible, loosens up your entire lower body, and makes your whole body feel a lot better. Because when you move better, you feel better. Try to do these 5 stretches every day, and let us know in the comments, how did they make your body feel? And while these 5 stretches are incredible, there's a lot more stretches that might be a better fit for your body and the particular areas that are pretty tight. And if you want to learn the best moves and stretches for your body, well, we built this brand new tool that we call the WeShape Coach. You answer some simple questions, and we find around 50 movements and stretches that are the perfect fit for your body and put them together into a 10-minute follow-along routine that you can do from home. If you want to try it out, all you got to do is click the link below.